Yo, this is really live on YouTube, bro.
Yeah, we're on YouTube Live. Everybody has to look stunning, please. Very well. There we are. Let me go. There we go. Mr. Ornelas, can I ask you to get on mute, please, sir, so I don't get any feedback from your part of the world?
Sure.
Galaxy A20 needs to be on mute as well, Judge.
Galaxy A20, what is your name, please? Again, I know I asked you before.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is your name, sir?
Pablo Rocha?
Mr. Rocha, please get on mute. And please get on mute so I don't get any feedback, and then I'll call you in a bit.
Okay, mute, right?
Mute, please. And you can still hear me, but I just can't hear what's going on over there. Got it?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rocha. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Judge Bonnie Rangel. It is my honor and privilege to be judge of the 171st Judicial District Court. It is 9:05 a.m., 6/18/2020. As everybody knows, we are in the midst of a COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Mr.
That's
Ornelas.
Mr. Ornelas. Mr. Ornelas.
Mr. Ornelas. Mr. Ornelas, can you hear me? Mr. Ornelas, can you hear me?
Y'all like Chick-fil-A, hit it up. Man.
Mr. Ornelas. Like, can he not hear me, Rick?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's having any issues with his audio.
Where is he? I'm gonna remove him. He doesn't have to come in.
Excuse me, Judge.
Yes.
My name is Eric Diaz. I'm here just to show up if you can see me.
I can see you. I can hear you, sir. Are you someone on my docket this morning?
Yes, correct.
Yes, he is, Judge. He's Mr. Roberts' client.
Okay, Mr. Roberts is in this hearing as well, Mr. Diaz. So just wait. I'm glad we tested you. Everything is working great. Okay. So just wait your turn when I call your name. Rick, I'm letting an iPhone in. Can you follow the iPhone, please?
Okay, and if Mr. Diaz can go on mute, please.
Mr.
Yes,
Diaz,
of course.
can you go on mute, sir?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think Ornelas has calmed down, Rick, has he?
He went outside. He's outside. He's the first one on the docket. He's the one that's set for an arraignment.
Okay, iPhone is in, Rick. Let's follow that iPhone. Very good. Let me continue with my remarks, my prefacing remarks. The Texas Supreme Court has allowed us to participate via Zoom and YouTube Live. If there's anyone participating herein that objects to that process, please tell me right now, verbally. Let the record reflect that there is no objection. Mr. Diaz, you need to mute. Do you know how to mute, sir?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can get to you so that I'm muting you. There you go. You're muted, sir. Rick, Mr. Ornelas is not muted, is he?
No, he's still up.
I'm looking for him. He's floating everywhere. I'm looking for Mr. Ornelas. There he is. I'm going to mute him. There he is. Okay, I think we've muted everybody, Rick. Thank you very much. Very well. So there's no objection to anyone continuing with this process and its limitations. I want everybody to know that I've got Ms. Rebecca Macias, who's my court reporter. She is attending this hearing, as well as Rebecca Gonzalez, who is my court coordinator, and of course, Mr. Rick Salazar, my bailiff. Now, there is to be absolutely no recording of this proceeding. If anybody does record, I am going to you can't be held in contempt of court. So please, the only official court reporter, the only official record of this court is the court reporter's record. Rick, did you follow that iPhone? Rick?
Yes, Judge, that was Mr. Veith, Joseph Veith's iPhone.
No, that was a long time ago. I let somebody else in.
He came back in.
Okay.
I'm here if you need me.
Okay, sir, go ahead and mute for me, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Rick,
I'll continue.
good. I'm letting in iPad 2. Okay, Mr. Rick?
Okay.
iPad 2, follow him. Now, We are on YouTube Live to comply with the open court provision. There is a chat option on the bottom of your options bar. If indeed you need to use that to utilize to speak to your client, to speak to another attorney, just ask for permission. I'll be more than happy to go into the breakout room. Mr. Rick, I think you're coming in. Can you mute? So at this point, I think we are ready to proceed. Is there anyone here, once again, I'm going to ask, that objects to this procedure, that does not understand the instructions I've just given? Verbalize it right now or forever hold your peace. Let the record reflect that there are no objections. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the first person on the docket. It is
Judge, I did send iPad to a chat and haven't heard a response, and she's on mute, and she's wearing a mask, so I can't really see who it is.
okay. It's iPad 2.
iPad 2, she just removed her mask, but she's still on mute.
iPad 2, ma'am, what is your name? I'm asking you to unmute. iPad 2, ma'am, what is your name?
Christina Perez.
Okay. And you're on my docket, Miss Perez?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you spell your last name? How do you spell your last name?
Perez.
Okay.
Yes, Judge, she is on. Her attorney is David Smith.
This doesn't,
Perez?
mine reaches a lot better. Otherwise, I have to.
Yeah.
Miss Perez, can you mute, please?
Ma'am?
Can you mute? We're getting too much feedback from you.
Oh.
Mute.
Okay.
Come back when I call you.
Wait.
Just
How do you?
There it is. Okay. Very well. The first one is Daniel Ornelas, court calls cause number 2019-7165. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Very good. Mr. Ornelas, you're out there, right, without an attorney?
He's on mute.
Mr. Ornelas, can you unmute, please? What technical difficulties we're having today. Mr. Ornelas. Mr. Ornelas, can you unmute? Mr. Ornelas.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have an attorney, ma'am.
I know, sir. Where are you working right now?
I'm at Chick-fil-A.
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you afford an attorney? You want to go hire one?
I had one. I had another case, and we're negotiating right now. So I got to call him back to see where we stand on that.
Okay, so how long is it going to take you to negotiate and do what you have to do to see if you have an attorney or not?
I'll have an answer by the end of today.
Okay, sir. This is my issue, sir. Miss Becky, how many times have we set this case for an arraignment? Many times or just once? Miss Becky?
Let me check, Judge.
Is this his first arraignment or have we given him resettings so he can get a lawyer?
Hold on. What does this mean?
So do you have an appointment with your lawyer this afternoon, Mr. Ornelas? Is that it?
Yeah, I need to call him.
This is a first arraignment setting, Judge.
Okay, then I'll give you, okay, Mr. Ornelas, let me just impress upon you, sir. First of all, you know the kind of energy I'm getting from you right now?
Tired? I don't know, ma'am.
I'm getting and maybe you are tired, but I'm getting an energy that you don't care about this case at all.
Why is that, Your Honor?
I don't know. I'm reading your energy. And the energy I'm getting is you don't care about this case. I'm kind of bothering you right now. I am bothering you. That's the energy I'm getting. Now, maybe you're tired, you're exhausted, you've been working 12 hours and I'm reading your energy wrong, but I read energy. And that's the energy I'm getting from you, Mr. Ornelas. So I'm going to tell you this, because I tell people the truth, because I want the truth back. So I'm getting not a very good energy from you. I'm going to give you 1 more week to find an attorney, sir. My docket runs on my time and not on your ability to hire a lawyer. You've got to sacrifice and do what you have to do to hire a lawyer, sir. You're the one that got arrested. You're the one that got yourself in this mess. Okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
You
And
see?
just so you know, it's not a bother. I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's not a bother at all. I'm just, you know, it is expensive, but you know, you're right. It is my fault, and I completely agree with you.
Okay, sir. You know, and this is important business. This is important. This is going to impact your life, sir. And it's
Yes, ma'am. But I mean, I do care. It's not like I don't. I do care. I really do. I mean, this is my life, like you said. I have another daughter on the way, and I don't need to. I just this is affecting my life, and
Okay.
whether I'm gonna see my daughter or not.
Okay, sir. Okay, then let's give it the attention that it deserves. Maybe you're tired. How many hours have you been working at Chick-fil-A right now?
I've been here since 5 in the morning.
Okay, sir. 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 hours. It's not too bad. It's
Yes,
not too
ma'am.
bad.
It's not.
It's not too bad. Okay, sir. I'm picking up some negative energy from you, sir. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, so
Okay.
maybe I read it wrong. Maybe you're tired, but you need to get an attorney. I'm going to give you 1 more week. You're going to show up again next Thursday. What's the date, Miss Becky, for next Thursday, or somebody? Give me the date.
6:25, Judge. Am I on mute?
June 25.
6:25 at 9 o'clock, Judge.
25 at 9 o'clock, sir. You need to participate once again with this Zoom with your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Judge,
Mr. Ornelas, yes, sir.
I just wanted to let you know, I don't see any application. Mr. Ornelas did do a waiver, so I don't believe he ever applied to see if he qualifies.
He wants to hire his own attorney. I asked him.
Okay.
Yeah, he already has somebody on the hook that he has to talk to this afternoon. Yes. Yes, Mr. Ornelas, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Very good. Okay, sir. So we're going to see you next Thursday, June 25th at 9 o'clock, sir. Both you and your attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. You may be excused, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. The next one is Michael, Tristan Michael Day. At this time, court call clause number 2019-5650. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Joseph Veith on behalf of the defense, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Is your client participating this morning on Zoom, Mr. V?
Your Honor, my client is in jail.
Okay, sir. So do you waive his presence this morning?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Very good. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and waive his presence. It's a pre-revo. Who's the probation officer in this case? Is that you, Ms. Mata? You need to unmute. Who's the probation
Sorry,
officer?
Judge. Claudia Mata, dog probation.
Very good. Okay. For everybody, let me tell you something. I'm learning the tricks of Zoom, and I'm going to tell you guys participating, all you have to do is press. Listen, everybody, this is valuable stuff, everybody. I'm giving a seminar Monday to the Bar Association to teach them the little tricks of Zoom. Everybody listen carefully, attorneys. You and probation officers, you can press the space bar to mute and unmute. Your space bar can mute and unmute. Isn't that much better than looking for the mute?
Yep.
There, I gave you $50, maybe $100 worth of deal. Okay, for free. Okay, Ms. Mata, tell me a little bit about the background of what's happening. Well, there's some feedback. Is it from your phone, Ms. Mata?
I don't think so, Your Honor. It's quite, I have no noise in here.
No noise at all. Okay. Ms. Mata, is it yours?
No, Judge, I'm alone in the room, so I've never had issues. It shouldn't be me.
Okay, Ms. Mata, give me a history of this gentleman on probation and why he's getting revoked.
Okay, Judge. Well, I don't know if we're going towards a revocation yet, Judge. He just got placed on March 12th for 2 years. As soon as I got him, we were supposed to see him, I think, within the next week or two here at the office, but that's when the whole COVID-19 happened, so we weren't able to see him. I did try to get in contact with him, but he didn't have a phone, so I started going through Mom. When talking to mom started telling me that there was a lot of issues with Mr. Day. He was acting up again. I think he's very verbally abusive towards the family. That is part of the conditions where he cannot be rude to the family. But the mom says that they're having issues with him. He leaves the home. He won't come back for a couple days. He admits to using meth. When I did talk to him, he told me that he was supposed to be clean. However, that he did use while in jail. I don't know how that happened, Judge. So he was yes.
He needed to using meth in jail.
Marijuana.
Okay.
So then, Judge, there was, I did ask him where he was staying, because mom would always have to contact him through Messenger, and he would end up calling me. He was staying with a friend. He would use the excuse that he would get a car, go to the friend's house, run out of gas, and stay there for a couple of days till he got gas money and then go back home. This is kind of the story he would tell me a lot of the times. So he was not staying at home often. He was getting into arguments with the family. The family did have to call PD on him once because he took the car without permission again.
This was after March 12th when he pled?
Yes. And I believe that's the offense that he was on. I believe he took mom's car. So there's issues with that, Judge. We did ask him to get a UA. He did go and get the UA, but he couldn't provide at the site. So they ended up having to leave. The problem, Judge, is he doesn't have a job. He wants to work with a friend who he stays with, who he has admitted to been using with. That's the person he stays with. So I told him that probably wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to be a good idea. He was talking about washing cars because the friend has a car washing business. So we did talk to mom. Mom said she had no problem transferring him to the lab, taking him anywhere he needed to go, paying for the UAs, helping him out. He just wasn't helping himself out at that point. Mom also sent me pictures of a car where the windshield was broken, the back windshield was broken. She doesn't know how it happened. So there's issues like that, Judge. She does tell us that she wants him to get mental health treatment. We did get him an appointment with EHN, but he missed that appointment, but that's because they picked him up on the bench warrant. But he was seen by a psychiatrist in the jail late May. So we're just waiting to see what's gonna happen with that.
Did they put him on meds in the jail?
Yes, he's on meds. But mom says they're not the correct meds. So I don't know what they have him on and what they don't have him on. I've talked to him. He says he does very good when he's on meds. And it's when he's off his meds that he starts using.
Ms. Mata, why don't you get the meds that the mother says he needs to be on, right?
Okay.
And then report that to the jail so that we can try to help him to get med compliant. Okay?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
the thing we have to do.
And Your Honor, if I can just add very quickly, I spoke to my client when he was in the jail. Yesterday, I had a meeting with him, and he has bipolar 1 and manic depressive disorder that he was diagnosed with. And when he was originally released from the jail following his probation plea, he was released with medication, and he was asked to for 10 days. And he was during those 10 days, he was doing well. And then he was supposed to go to EHN in order to have a doctor, meet with a doctor who could continue prescribing the medication. And his EHN appointment was scheduled like way out. So he never even was able to get medicated before he was rearrested. And he's only 19 years old. I don't think he has any other prior criminal history, but he was unmedicated despite having bipolar 1 and manic depressive disorder for a fairly long period of time. And all these things happened during the period that he was not medicated. And I don't know why EHN took so long to get him in, but his appointment wasn't even, it was still, after the point where he was arrested, it was that far out. So his appointment hadn't even come up yet by the time he was arrested and during the period that he was having these issues on probation. He also mentioned he would like to do the Takumi program, if that's possible. I think he has hope, but he needs to be medicated. He needs to be followed. He should probably be on if he's not already on the mental health caseload, because he's young and he has mental health issues. This is, it really has to be treated him being in jail without treatment, I don't think is beneficial for him. If we were able to set up a program to where he would be required to take his medicine, he was released to EHN, rather than, you hear me?
Yeah, we lost your video.
Sorry, let me get it back in case.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay, I'm good. Okay, good. So I was hoping we can find an alternative that would treat him. Given his age and his mental health issues, he needs to be treated. It's just working out the mechanics of how to do that as part of his probation. And probation would be a good tie-in to do that.
Mr. V, thank you for that history. That's
Sure.
helpful. That's helpful, sir. Thank you. Miss Mata, did you know that he, after 10 days of medication, no
Yes,
appointment?
Judge, he did tell me. So from the day that we spoke on his orientation over the phone, I had been trying to call EHN since that day. We couldn't get through. And finally, when we did, they gave us an appointment so far out. They told us they couldn't give him anything sooner. So when I was talking to Mr. Day, he told me that he still had meds. And I had asked him, how do you have meds if they only gave you 10 days? He told me he was skipping several days. So I said, you can't be doing that. You need to take it every day. But mom is the one that told me that he hadn't been on meds. And that's why he had been using. He's open to treatment, Judge. He knows he has an issue. He wants to be on his medication. So I will call Roxanne and the jail and mom to see what he's on so he can be back on meds. I think Takumi would be a good option for him because he's open. He wants to get the treatment.
Why didn't you call? Did you try to call Roxanne to get an EHN when he ran?
Yes, Judge, we tried everything. It was so hard to get an appointment during that time.
That was during that time. That was during
Yes.
the okay. I'm understanding a little bit more. Now, this is. I think this gentleman is a meth. He's addicted to meth. 19, however old he is. I think, and he doesn't have a home. He's not going to succeed. He's not going to succeed with his addiction. No tools, no nothing, 19 years old, and he's homeless. And the only place that'll let him in is somebody that owns a car wash that probably gives him the meth on a daily basis. What are we thinking? He needs to be here. He needs to be at safety. If he's homeless, we'll start off there.
Judge, I did talk to mom, and mom does want him to go to a treatment facility because she says when he's on the meth, it gets pretty bad. He gets pretty violent. So she's open to that. Mr. Day, we hadn't talked about Safe P, but we had talked about treatment. He's always been open to it.
It's Safe P, Mr. V. He's homeless.
I'll
He
let him
doesn't
know.
say he has a raging meth addiction. He's violent. He's not stable on his meds. Safe P will take care of everything there. Ms. Mata, what's the waiting period? Is there a waiting period? Special needs?
Right now, Judge, I don't believe they're taking anybody, but I mean, we could put him on the list.
Right.
I think as long as he's compliant at the jail with his meds, that's a good start. And then when they take him, we could already put him on the list.
He needs Safe P, Mr. Reed.
What about RSAT? Is that a possibility? Because then he can graduate to Safe P if things worse and we'll create another option.
This is my only issue, and you guys gauge him more than I. Is he a runner? You said he wanted the help.
Mom says she doesn't think he would run, Judge, but if he did run, he would run to her house. And she said that she would, because I did ask her that. If we were to put him at the facility and he were to run, where would he go? And she said he would definitely go to her house. And she would be the first one to call us. She does not cover for him. She's always calling me, like when he would leave the house, when he wouldn't return. So we wouldn't, I don't think we would have that as an issue. I think we'd be able to find him right away.
Okay, if he's not a runner, if he doesn't abscond, okay. And you say he's genuine, he wants help. Okay, I'll do RSAT, Mr. Reed. Mr. Nunez,
you.
what do you have to say? Mr. Nunez, what do you have to say about all
I
this?
agree with the center, Your Honor. The meth does concern me as well.
Yes, and then he's homeless. He's homeless. His family doesn't want him. Okay, Mr. Reed, can you convince him to do RSAT, sign the mods, and then life is good, and we'll just wait to see how long it'll take for him to get there. Meanwhile, let's everybody try to get him stabilized on the meds that the mother says he needs. Ms. Mata, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. V?
Will do. Thank you,
Okay,
Your Honor. I'll talk to him today. I'm going to schedule a jail call and get this done.
good. Mr. Vith, I don't think we need another hearing. I think he's going to agree, right? And then the
I think
mods,
he will.
let's hurry up and get those mods. Let's hurry up and get him to agree, get the mod signed, because then that's when he's put on the list.
Perfect. We'll get it done.
Everybody, thank you so much. Anything else, Mr. Vith?
Nothing more. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Nunez, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Mata.
No, Judge.
Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
The
Bye-bye.
next is- The next one is Markendall. That's Ms. Montes, court call number 2019-1094, 6176. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage ready.
Judge,
Montes.
Ms. Montes is on, but she's on mute.
Ms. Montes, you need to unmute. Do your space bar like I just taught you. Ms. Montes, maybe she's not there. Ms. Montes? Okay, we're going to the next one.
And
The next one is Horace Lee Thompson, court cause number 2019-6490. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage ready.
Rene Vasquez for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Very well.
Mr. Thompson is here. Mr. Thompson is on, but he's on mute, Judge.
Mr. Thompson, Miss, I went to the next case, Miss Montes.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm so sorry, Judge. I was having problems unmuting.
Okay, I'll get right back to you, okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You need to do your space bar. Your space bar mutes and unmutes quickly. Try it.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's the trick I'm not charging you a CLE fee for. I'm researching all the Zoom secrets. Okay, Mr. Thompson, how are you, sir?
Tired, Your Honor.
Why are you so tired? You don't have a job, right?
My son went to bed at 8 o'clock this morning, Your Honor.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. How old is your baby again?
1.5 years old, Your Honor.
Where are you, sir? I can't even see you. Talk to me, Mr. Thompson. I don't know why it's stuck on Ms. Montes.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay, talk to me again. Keep talking to me.
I don't know why it's not popping
Ask
up.
me how I am. I don't see you, sir. I don't
It's
see
frozen,
you.
Your Honor.
Huh? What's
Yeah.
it?
I don't know. It's moving on my end, Your Honor.
And he is coming out on the talking screen, Judge.
He is? He's not coming out. I'm stuck with Cristina Montes. There he, yeah. Now I see him on my gallery, but it's Ms. Montes. Okay, Mr. Thompson. I think you went round and round, very painful. Mr. Nunez, David Nunez created a very painful situation.
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry. SR Portillo just got off of mute.
Oh,
She's
no.
on.
Sorry.
Okay, Ms. Portillo, thank you. Okay, Mr. Nunez made this process very, very painful. They just submitted this morning, Mr. Castañeda submitted to me, Mr. Thompson, your amended PR bond. Of course, the no offensive contact was already on the one of the previous PR bonds. So I think we went round and round there for nothing. So it is no offensive contact. You will be able to report by phone, sir, 2 times a month. This is what I'm amending your PR bond for, Mr. Thompson, okay? So
Yes, Your Honor.
you can leave for New York, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you just better report, sir. That's all I'm asking.
No problem, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. Mr. Vasquez, anything else we need to discuss?
Just wanted to clarify the drug testing process, Judge. I already spoke to my client and I told him that he needs to find some kind of facility to get drug tested, Judge, and send the results to PR bond here in Texas.
Very well. Mr. Thompson, have you done that yet?
No, Your Honor. I spoke to my attorney about it yesterday, Your Honor.
Okay, look into it, sir, and try to get that done before you leave, sir, and give all the information to the PR bond officer, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, be safe over.
Judge, this was also, I also put for a rec because I don't think we've had a hearing where they give them a rec.
Oh, okay. Mr. Nunez, have you given a rec? Mr. Vasquez, have you gotten a rec in this case?
I don't remember, Judge. I think we were discussing dismissal in this case. I don't think the state can prove it.
Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we talking about?
Your Honor, I mean, I see this going in the way of a Wednesday trial. But we did have a rec. I did put a rec on portal, which was on May 27th, for deferred. Family violence finding, 150 hours of community service, anger management, fully probated, $500 fine, urine and breath analysis, and a curfew, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. That's the rec, Mr. Vasquez. Now you have it. It's been on portal. Let's set it up for a Wednesday trial. Once we start in person. I think that's a good way to resolve it, Mr. Vasquez and Nunez, right?
Yes, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
We'll set up for a Wednesday trial once we get back in-person hearings, okay? Put this on the list for in-person hearings, Ms. Becky. Wednesday. Thank you. You all may be excused. Anything else, Mr. Vasquez?
No, Judge, that's all.
Mr. Nunez, anything else in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, safe travels and stay away from this woman up there, please. I don't want any reports if there's any problems, okay, sir?
No problem, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day.
you,
Mr.
Judge.
Vasquez, did you have any more?
No, in the afternoon, Judge.
Got it. Thank you, sir. You may be excused.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. We're on the record now, 2019. I put scratches. Ms. Becky, can you call back Mark and Dahl? The cause numbers, please, Becky, because I put scratches and I can't read them. Do you have my docket?
Yes, Judge. So, right, you want me to do 2019 ODO 4094 and 2019 ODO 6176.
Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Christina Montes, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Williams, we're ready.
Okay, now this is a status.
Judge Markendall is on, but he's on mute and no video.
Oh, I forgot, Mr.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
There
Mr. Markendall. How are you?
I'm good. How you all doing today?
I'm good, sir. Thank you for asking, sir. Do you see and recognize your attorney as your attorney?
Yeah.
on screen?
Yes, ma'am. I seen her.
And Ms. Montes, do you see and recognize your defendant on the screen as well?
I do, Your Honor.
And he's the defendant in this case, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Thank you. Thank you. Now, this is a status. I think this is for a plea offered, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor. The plea offer is to run concurrent, 10 years deferred probation, a family violence finding on 4094, or the case ending in 4094. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Deadly weapon finding, to wit, a firearm, screen for MHMR, drug counseling, UABA, curfew, no contact with Andrea Clemmer, and the others.
What are you thinking, Ms. Montes?
Your Honor, we had actually discussed, David and I don't know if you recall this case, but this is the one where Mr. Williams will be getting deployed. So we were trying to work something out before that. Of course, his deployment got delayed because of COVID. So what's happening is he has another case pending, and they asked for alibi information so that they could dismiss the second one and give us 5 years on deferred instead of the 10, which we were in agreement with. After they received the paperwork, they wasn't sufficient to satisfy, Mr. Martinez didn't want, it didn't prove that he wasn't there is what he's saying. So because of that, Mr. Williams obviously doesn't want to take the 10 years that now they're offering. So we're going to be setting both of them for trial.
Okay. Between his deployment, whenever that's going to happen, and the COVID, it could be 2-3 years before we settle this case. Is everybody okay with that? Is he on a PR bond?
He's actually out with a bail bond, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Nunez, can you offer anything better to maybe entice Ms. Montes to take it?
Both to run concurrent, 5 years, Your Honor. Both CWs are on board since we last spoke with them, Your Honor.
Okay, there it is. That's your last rock bottom offer, Mr. Nunez, is what I'm hearing, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Montes?
I'll get with Mr. Williams, Your Honor, just to, now that he knows that they're running concurrent for 5 years, see if he wants to do it. Ultimately, I want to make his choice. But I know the last time we heard, he was pretty adamant he wants to go to trial.
He was. I remember that. I don't think we're going to have any more settlement conferences in this case. I think we reached the end. You did or didn't prove alibi that the DAs didn't accept. Okay. So now it's 5 years. We're going to put it on the agreement.
We can't hear you, Judge.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Judge. Mr. Markendall is getting the wind from outside into his microphone, Judge.
Markendall, can you go to a quiet place, Mr. Markendall?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna step inside the building.
What are you? Are you working?
Negative. I just got off this morning.
Okay. Quiet.
And Judge, on this case,
yes.
This was also where Ivan was gonna tell you if he found out if he was gonna be able to find proof that the person can get on or off Fort Bliss.
No, Miss Montes just talked about that, about the
okay.
of alibi, and Mr. Martinez didn't accept it.
Oh.
Right. He didn't accept whatever she offered as proof. Mr. Markendall, can you sit?
I can hear you, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just getting me
Okay.
dizzy looking at you.
I can barely hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll just go ahead and do we'll set it on the trial docket, like I said, okay? You can work something out. You and Mr. Markendall come up with something else, counter offer, whatever. There's an agreement, call Becky, and we'll set it up for a plea ASAP. Otherwise, it's going to be 2 to 3 years before we settle this case. The only thing I'm going to ask Ms. Montes is if you can keep the court apprised of his deployment, when and if he deploys, if it doesn't get settled.
Absolutely, Judge. As soon as he gets his orders, he will send them to the office, and then I will make sure you get them as well.
Thank you, just so we can keep track of that. Okay. Ms. Becky, I think we need to set this up for the trial docket and no more settlement conferences. Okay, anything else, Ms. Montes?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you all very much. You may be excused. Mr. Markendall, thank you so much for participating this morning. You may be excused.
Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. You too. The next one is Veronica Pachla, 2019-4607, announcement of council.
Good morning, Your Honor. Enrique Martin on behalf of Ms. Pachla.
Good. Is Ms. Pachla participating this morning or not?
No, ma'am, she's in jail, and I've been dealing with Mr. Setliff on this case.
Okay, good. So do you waive Ms. Pachla's appearance today?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Setliff?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Setliff. How are you this morning?
I'm very well. I'm ready to talk with you, and I think we have some time this afternoon too.
Excellent. Excellent. Nice to see you, Mr. Setliff. Nice to. Okay, what are we talking about on this case? Did we work something out? Is there a better offer, Mr. Setliff, or what's happening in this case?
My consideration is, so she has 3 felony offenses and 4 misdemeanor offenses all pending.
Hang on. Let me call the other case. 2020-360 is the one we're on record as well. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Go ahead, Mr. Setliff. I'm sorry.
So the ones I have that she has pending are 2019-0D04607, and then 2020-0D00360, and 2019-0D04607. I'm handling the assault on a peace officer and the possession of controlled substance, but Dave and I have been conferring and we're in agreement on the offer. At this point is 4 years TDC. I am also in conversation with Mr. Martin about a different number, but I wanted to take some care in not going down on a number if she's not even considering a plea offer.
Okay. Is she considering time, Mr. Martin?
Your Honor, she's already been in there quite some time, and I'm requesting that the DA consider the minimum of 2 years, and I will speak to her about it because she's got some time credit already. And so I will speak to her about the 2 years. Last time we met, Your Honor, the DA was going to send some detectives to talk to her to see if she had some information that she could give on sex trafficking. And I don't think the information she had was sufficient for the DA to consider probation. But I was trying to get her probation if she shared that information. but I don't believe it was sufficient for the DA to consider probation at this time. I am countering 2 years, but I do have to speak to my client and see if she's willing to do that, ma'am.
Okay. I guess you check with your client first before we can expect a response from Mr. Setliff, right? Let's make sure your client is willing to do 2 years. And then,
Yes,
Mr.
Your
Setliff, it'll be your decision, sir.
I appreciate that, Judge, and Mr. Martino. I appreciate you speaking with her. I think one thing you'll have to broach with her is that there are indeed 3 felonies. So, you know, she's gonna have to plead to more than just nothing. I don't mind working on the misdemeanors, but certainly Mr. Martino and I are working together, Judge.
Do you think one more settlement conference would be fruitful in this case, gentlemen? One more?
I believe so, Your Honor, just so I can have some time to go speak to her. Last time I went to the annex, it was on lockdown, so hopefully it won't be on lockdown.
Yes, sir. Let's do this in about 3 weeks. Another settlement conference in 3 weeks. Okay, gentlemen?
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Judge, I only see 2 cases. I don't see 3.
Well, there's 3 counts. You're talking counts, really. I
Oh,
think.
okay, Judge. Just want to make sure I put all the numbers on the docket.
Yes, counts. Okay. Okay, gentlemen, you all may be excused. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next one is Davidson Smith, Christina Perez, court calls cause number 2017-602. Christina Perez, announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. ADA Alyssa Nava for the state of Texas. We're ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Nava. Mr. H. Davidson Smith, where are you?
He is on iPhone, Judge, and he's on mute, as well as his client is iPad 2.
Okay, Mr. H. Davidson Smith, can you unmute? Press your space bar, unmute. Where's Mr.? I don't see Mr. H. Davidson Smith.
He's on iPhone.
No.
What's the space bar? On your.
You need to mute again. I think we're getting the feedback from you.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's your space bar.
Okay.
iPhone is.
Can you see me?
There you go, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay. We are, you announced for the.
Dealing with a dinosaur.
I know.
You're
Announce for
dealing
the.
with a dinosaur here.
I know, but you're announcing for the record, right?
I am.
Okay. And Mr. Nunez, you're here too.
I am, Your Honor.
Okay. This is painful, you guys. If you can't even announce, oh, please. Okay. Mr. H. Davidson Smith, do you see and recognize Ms. Perez as the defendant in this case on the screen?
Yes, she's right across the street. Yeah, she's here.
Very good. And Perez, do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. H. Davidson Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the offer in this one? This is another status, I think. Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. The offer has always been prison time. However, I've spoken with Mr. Davidson Smith about preparing some sort of packet for me to show if his client is deserving of probation and that I'm willing to consider that. However, I haven't received anything from Mr. Smith.
Okay, Mr. Smith, what are you going to include in that packet?
Well, I think we have some good material, and it's been. I have not apparently discussed it well with my client. She's supposed to get that stuff for me, and then I'll get it to the co-counsel. Okay.
If you can, Judge, if you can have iPad go on mute, because it's breaking up a lot.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Okay, go ahead. Can you repeat that, Mr. Smith?
I need to send the stuff to the prosecutor, and I will get it out next week. It's my fault, actually.
Okay, sir. This is a 2017 case, sir.
Well, you know, these things happen.
I know, but not, yeah, I know, but we need to push them. I need to push it. I'm going to give you 1 week. You've got 1 week. We're doing this another settlement conference next Thursday at 9 o'clock, Mr. H. Davidson Smith. By that time, I think you have a day or two to send the packet to Ms. Nava so that Ms. Nava can look at it. We're going to reset this for next, it's June the 25th, right, Ms. Becky, at 9 o'clock.
Yes, Judge. And this is the one, Judge, if I don't know if you remember, that was transferred from Judge Dominguez's court. No, from one of
Yes.
the from Judge Dominguez's court. Then they when we were doing that equalization. Okay, it's attached to Mojica.
Okay. Okay.
And you're the
It's
truth
still a
is,
2017 case on my docket. I don't like it. I don't care
yeah,
where.
but I mean,
One
it was in another court, and we got transferred. And there's a co-defendant is in the other court, so we didn't want it transferred, but Aurora did it. So what can we do?
I know that. Okay. Okay, sir, you've got days to turn in, and at least you have a reasonable ADA, Ms. Nava, who's willing to look at this packet.
Oh, no, I know.
Probation, so you better move on it quickly, sir. So you got 1 week to take care of that.
Okay,
Okay.
my dear, you have a great job. Have a great day.
I'm sorry, everybody may be.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your Honor. Have a good day. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms.
Bye-bye.
Nava. Thank
Okay.
you. The next one is Juan Portillo. That's Mr. Carmona, 2018-1344. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez, state your honor, stated ready.
Cesar Lozano on behalf of Ms.
Carmona?
Solange. No, it's
there
Cesar
you are.
Lozano.
Hello, Mr. Lozano. Do you
Good
see
morning,
and recognize Ms. Portillo on the screen as your client and the defendant in this case, Mr.
I do, Your Honor.
And Ms. Portillo, do you see and recognize Mr. Lozano as your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Let the record reflect that both of you have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, another conference.
Your honor, the recommendation is restitution for dismissal.
Hang on, Miss Portillo, can you just go mute? Can you?
Yeah.
mute, please, I think maybe.
Oh, you know what? It's probably the AC. I'm sorry.
Okay, ma'am, we're just getting, I'm not hearing Mr. Nunez at all. Okay, Mr. Nunez, it was restitution what for dismissal? Did I hear that right?
Yes, your honor.
How
And the
much
amount, I'll get it shortly, your honor, but I know it's in the $3,000 range. Let me get that exact amount here shortly.
What are you thinking about that, Mr. Lozano?
We're ready for trial, Your Honor.
Oh, my goodness, my gracious. You don't want to pay $3,000 to ensure you don't get a felony conviction?
We're ready for trial, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Lozano. Okay. You're not willing. I mean, some people are really innocent and I respect that, right? And you have your right to a trial, Mr. Lozano, but you're not even willing to make a counter offer?
Your Honor, we've spoken to, we've had number of hearings on this case, and I've spoken to my client, and we have always been ready for trial, Your Honor.
Okay, she's adamant that there's nothing. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so I guess there's no more, we're not going to deal with any more settlement conferences in the future. We're just going to put it on the trial docket, and hopefully we'll try this within the next couple of years.
That's right. Thank you.
That's all I can tell you. I think it's really going to take that long. I think it's going to take that long. The list grows daily. Mr. Nunez, how much is the rest?
Your honor, I would suggest maybe a bench trial.
Oh, Mr. Lozano, that's a fabulous idea. What about a bench trial?
We'll consider it, Your Honor, but maybe not.
Mr. Nunez, I think that's a no. I'm reading between the lines. I think that is a definite no.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
It's a flat 3,000, Your Honor.
Oh, there it is. Okay, 3,000 for restitution. Restitution is 3,002. To whom?
That would.
This is
Irene Lopez, Your Honor.
This is a forgery case. I think this is a document tracing kind of case. Mr. Lozano, are you that convinced that
Your
there's
Honor,
no tracking, no tracing, no nothing in this case?
well, I believe that
He had permission.
the the evidence will play out in trial in our favor, Your Honor.
Okay. I know you don't want to give too much away, but okay. Okay, in a forgery case, okay. Mr. Nunez, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're gonna put this on the trial docket, please. No more future settings. Thank you very much. You may be excused. Have a great day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Eric Diaz. Robert Harris. Becky, is Robert Harris gonna participate or is he still sick? There's public defender. Is there a public defender?
Judge, that's Charlie Roberts, Eric
It's
Diaz.
Charles Roberts, Judge.
Unmute here. Yeah, Judge. It's my client.
You remember my printer's not working that well. And I see Robert and I thought it was Robert Harris. I'm sorry.
Happened before, Judge.
I'm sorry. At this time, court calls cause number 2018-3361, Eric Diaz, and that's on the council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Charles Roberts for the defense. We're ready, Your Honor.
Okay, now, what is the offer in this case, Mr. Nunez? Do we have Mr. Diaz? Hang on a second. Is Mr. Diaz participating? He is. Mr. Diaz, can you talk to me, sir? Good morning. Mr. Diaz, I'm asking you to unmute.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for your patience this morning. Do you see and recognize your attorney, Mr. Roberts, on the screen as your attorney?
Yes, 100%.
Good. And Mr. Roberts, do you see and recognize your client on the screen as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have recognized each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what are we talking about in this case?
Your Honor, the recommendation is 10 years deferred probation, $500 fine, 100 hours of community service, anger management, urine and breath analysis, as well as a curfew. There's also a DWI that was picked up after this offense, Your Honor, and I will offer that if he pleads to the DWI to run concurrent.
He pleads to the
regular terms and
DWI.
conditions of probation.
He pleads to the DWI. He gets 10 years deferred on that one too? Everything concurrent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Roberts?
Your Honor, we need a jury trial.
Oh, gosh. Okay. There's no possible counter,
Yeah,
Mr. Or you don't even want to go to a...
No. Your Honor, there's just a basic factual conflict here. My client asserts that he's totally innocent. He's guilty probably of the DWI, but not of anything else. And so we're just going to have to go to trial, Judge.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. Okay, we're gonna put you on the docket, trial track docket, and it may be in a year, 2 years, 3 years, God knows when. Okay, no more future hearings on this one. Mr. Roberts, anything else, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
Maybe a possible bench trial, Your Honor?
What about a bench trial, Mr. Roberts? That's a fabulous idea.
I'll talk it over with my client. I'm not making a definite no, but I'll talk it over with my client. Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, sir. Very well. I'm not going to take it personal. All the defense attorneys don't want me to try the cases, and the DAs want me to try the cases. Wow. Okay, put it on the trial docket. I'm reading between the lines. That's a no too. That's a no too. Okay. Very well, Mr. Nunez. That was a good try. Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a great day, everybody. The next one is
Judge, just one second.
Yes.
If we did a bench trial, how would that work? Are we going to do it on Zoom?
Absolutely. Why not? Or one of two things. One of two things. We can do Zoom, or we'll do it like July. I think in July we're going to be able to do in person.
I don't know, Judge. I think in July it's going to be worse.
Okay, and you might be right, Mr. Roberts. You might be right. It could be worse. All we can do is plan now. If we can do an in-person by July is what I'm hoping and thinking. But you're right, the numbers are going up, Mr. Roberts. I agree. We would do it either if you don't want it by Zoom. It's a little bit limiting. I was hoping we would have in person. hearings by July, August, but maybe not. So that's
Yeah,
how we,
for the court to judge the credibility of witnesses and something, Zoom just isn't. I just don't think Zoom will do it. And that's my problem with a Zoom bench trial. I think it's like watching a TV program instead of actually seeing and feeling the people.
did you see the feelings I had with my first defendant on the docket? I felt his energy and he just didn't give a darn about me or about his case and not wanting to participate in this process. And I picked all that up with his energy. So I disagree with you that you can't pick up people's attitudes, and you can pick up more because their face is right in front of you. You can see when they roll their eyes. You can see when they snicker. You can see if they're lip syncing something ugly and mean. I mean, there's
Yeah. And in court, they'll be wearing a mask, and that's going to make it a little difficult to watch facial expressions.
no, I would request the mask be removed because we'll be more than 15 feet apart. In my courtroom, Mr. Roberts, Rick and I have distanced everybody 15 feet, which
Judge,
is what,
if you're with a person in a confined space, even a large room, for hours and hours, maybe even over a couple of days, that's all it takes. Just a few particles each breath. You know what I mean? It gets up to 1,000 and you're infected. That's the problem. You can't stay with a person that long.
okay. Mr. Roberts, you brought up a very good point. If you don't feel safe, I feel safe doing it the way we're doing it with 15 feet apart. I'd be willing to try a case 15 feet apart there. But if you don't feel safe, Mr. Roberts, as many probably attorneys don't, I will respect that. I will respect that. We're in the high risk target group, right? And so I respect the fact that you are fearful of being in a courtroom, even with 15 feet distancing. I respect that, sir. So we'll just have to accommodate it when and if everybody feels okay about it, and when the Texas Supreme Court allows us to have jury trials.
Thank you, Your
That's why Mr. Nunez's idea about a bench trial is fabulous, because you won't be there with anybody but the judge, 4 people in a room in that big, huge courtroom. So I thought that was a fabulous idea, but of course, you've got your right to a jury trial, and I'm not going to deny you that either, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, put it on the trial docket. Thank you very much. You all may be excused. Have a great day. Faith Cabrales. Faith Cabrales, 2019-1567. Is Mr. Castañon on?
I'm here, Your Honor.
There you go. Announcement of council, please.
David Nunez, please state your honor. Stage is ready.
Felix Castañon for Ms. Cabrales, ready as well, Your Honor.
Cabrales participating.
I did see her earlier, but I lost her in all these windows. There she is, Your Honor.
Cabrales, can you speak to us? Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, very good. There you are. Ms. Cabrales, do you see and recognize Mr. Castañon as your attorney in this case, ma'am?
No, I don't see him.
Okay, Mr. Castañon, talk and wave and say something so that you can be on the big screen.
Ms. Cabrales, I'm waving at you. If you can kind of look through all the window panes and kind of, if you're on an iPad, swipe.
Oh, yes, I could see.
Okay, very well. And Mr. Castañon, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Okay, what are we talking about this case, Mr. Nunez?
Your Honor, I believe we were waiting for some paperwork for the parenting class, which Mr. Castañon did send over. I guess the only thing I would ask is if you could just PDF it over to me, which I know won't be a problem.
To do what?
Send it in a PDF so I can upload it onto Portal so it looks nice and neat. It was just a snapshot of it. I know that I guess she did 18 sessions according to Mr. Castañon. The only thing that I guess was also required, and I don't remember if we discussed it at the last hearing or not, was the anger management course. That's the only thing that I believe was also part of the deal for, and this is all working towards a dismissal, Your Honor.
Mr. Castañon, was the anger management a part of the deal?
It is, Your Honor, as well as the state wanted, I guess, some kind of document or something stating as to her mental condition. I know she's still going through CPS, and from my understanding from my client, because CPS recently, they didn't want to discuss the case with me, but she signed a waiver. I believe they were going to go out to her house yesterday to sign a waiver so I could discuss the case with her caseworker. I think they steered, instead of steering Ms. Cabrales to anger management, they steered her towards family violence counseling. And it's that, I forget the one that the state offers, that it's a really long course with a bunch of sessions. But
That's VIP.
there you go. I think it's that one, Your Honor. And so I talked to my social worker. We're trying to find her an anger management class, because I know they had sent her, I guess, some information or a link to sign up to anger management. And then as far as her mental health condition, she has been seen by EHN, but my understanding is she's currently not taking any medication because she has IDD, a low intellectual disability. And so she did tell me that my client told me that they had sent her out for a mental health evaluation. CPS did.
Is Erica Yvonne Pacheco Diaz? You need to be on mute or stop screaming to your kids. Ms. Pacheco Diaz?
She's on mute now.
Yeah. So I'm working on that, Your Honor. Well, I'll steer her towards the right anger management class, and not the FIP, and then once I get the results of the mental health evaluation, I'll turn those over to the state.
Okay, an anger management course can be done online in 2 hours or 3 hours.
Yes,
right?
Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then what are you going to do to prove her mental stability? I didn't get that.
Well, she's exactly, there's not really any records I can provide other than CPS sent her out for a mental health evaluation, or she's going to have one. And so I guess I can provide that.
Is that okay, Mr. Nunez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I don't want to play devil's advocate, but what happens if they say she's mentally unstable, but she's done the anger management and she's done the parenting classes? What happens then, Mr. Nunez?
Well, I'm going to reach out to the CW like I did last time, Your Honor. And this was all, this whole plan was, I spoke with the CW about this plan. And she was well okay with it, with all this stuff. That said, if that does happen, Your Honor, I think it would be a good idea to reach out to her and also to speak with her again regarding that issue if it does pop up.
Okay, Mr. Castañón, how much time do you want to finish the anger management online class?
As the court stated, we can find some courses she can finish rather quickly. So if I could have 2-3 weeks, Your Honor, whatever the court will indulge me with.
I'm going to give you 3 weeks because I think
Thank you, Your Honor.
the mental health report or whatever it is that, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
3 weeks, settlement conference in 3 weeks, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else in this case, Mr. Castañón?
That's it, Your Honor. And I will be in your seminar on Monday for Zoom, Your Honor.
Good. Did you see my tip?
I have been following your tips, Your Honor.
Try it again. Try it again. Make sure it works. Do it again. Press the space bar.
Space bar? I didn't hear that one.
Press your space bar.
Let's see. I can't even get a keyboard, Your Honor.
Mr. Castañón, oh, you don't have a case? You don't have a keyboard?
No, I have an iPad.
Oh, okay. If you have if you do it on your laptop, you press the space bar and it'll mute you.
Oh.
You don't have to
I
look.
just have a mute button.
Yes. That's a tidbit. That's just a little teaser I gave for my presentation on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Castañón. You may be excused. Have a
Thank
great
you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
You can leave as well, Ms. Cabrales.
Yes, Ms. Cabrales. Thank you for participating, Ms. Cabrales. Be safe and have a great day, ma'am.
You too.
Benito Garcia, court calls cause number 2019-3336. Benito Garcia, announcement of council, please.
Your Honor, for the defense. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Nunez.
Oh my God. Look at Mr. Cox's virtual background. You look fabulous, sir.
Yeah, I'm kind of up the creek. Mr. Garcia, I think is in the waiting room. I talked to him by phone a little while ago and he did sign in, but he may be in the virtual waiting room. I don't
There's
know.
nobody in the waiting room. I get
Okay.
data. There's no, you want him to try to get in again?
If possible, and I've been in regular contact with him, and as I said, I did speak with him just a little while ago. So, and as far as I know, he's doing what he's supposed to.
I want to see him. I want to see him because
Okay.
remember the issue. So tell him to try, Mr. Cox, because I do want to see him.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if he's out there. Let me try texting him. Maybe I can get a hold of him that way and just tell him to try to sign in again. He was having a little trouble understanding the technology.
Yeah, he has not
aware,
been in my waiting, Mr. Cox, he has not been in my waiting room at all this entire time.
Okay. He was having trouble understanding because he said that someone had sitting the link, but I think he was having some trouble understanding how to work it.
Tell him to see if he can do it again. I'll come back. I'm going to go to the next case, but I come back after the next one. Okay. Court calls cause number 2019-4592, the city of Texas versus Erica Pacheco. Mr. Flores, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Sam Flores for Ms. Pacheco, Judge.
And Ms. Pacheco, you are present, right? Because you were screaming at your kids 2 minutes ago, right, Ms. Pacheco Diaz?
You speak Spanish, Judge, but she is present.
Okay. Do you see and recognize Ms. Pacheco Diaz as the defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. Ms. Pacheco Diaz, can you talk to me and say buenos dias?
Buenos dias.
Okay, good. Do you speak English, ma'am, at all?
No.
Okay. I am going to ask you, let's see. Is it okay if I ask her in Spanish? She responds in Spanish and then I translate for the record. Mr. Flores and Mr. Nunez.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ok, usted ve su abogado, señora, y conoce su abogado como su abogado en este caso, señora Pacheco Diaz?
Sí.
I asked her if she recognized her attorney as her attorney in this particular case, and she said yes. Okay. Now, Mr. Flores, is it okay if we don't have an interpreter for her and you can interpret the results of this hearing? Are you okay with that?
Fine, Judge, yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, this is a settlement conference. Mr. Nunez, talk to me about this one. Mr. Nunez, are you there?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize. The offer on the table, Your Honor, is...
Nunez, do you have a laptop?
I do.
Okay, are you using the space bar to mute and unmute?
Every now and then. It's just that I know it has to be...
Because then it'll be quicker.
Yes, Your Honor. But the other trick is that you have to be clicked on, that screen has to be active with your mouse. So you have to click the screen with the left mouse button. And then if you're multitasking and writing notes, the space bar won't work because it's working with, let's say, the Word document or something. Or I don't know if that makes sense, Your Honor, but I guess I'd have to show you.
Oh, no, what you're trying to tell me is you're trying to do work, right? And your laptop is doing other work, right?
Absolutely.
You have to be focused on the Zoom hearing for that space bar to work.
Yes, Your Honor.
You can't be on. You can't be on Word. You can't be on Adobe. You can't be on anything else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
The offer on the table is 10 years deferred probation, 300 hours of community service, a $500 fine, a responsible pet owners course.
Do they have that?
Yes, Your Honor, it's in the code.
Mr. Benito Garcia's coming in, Mr. Cox. I'm admitting him. That's good. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Nunez.
Yes, Your Honor, and UABA as well as a curfew.
Okay. What are you thinking, Mr. Flores?
Judge, it's an animal cruelty case. I've been working this case with Diego Vasquez, who's an immigration specialist. My client's a resident. I spoke to him yesterday in preparation of today's hearing. He's researching to see if, according to him, the federal law had changed March, April of this year, trying to consider these type of cases crimes of moral turpitude. If that's the case, we might not be able to enter into a deal, Judge. We might just have to accept the trial, but I have no clear response at this time as to whether or not we can accept a deal or not.
I'm surprised that it is a crime.
So what I'm trying to do is see what offers, if any, are available, so I can counter offer with the state see if that's an option, and if it is, and we might settle it that way. If not, then we're all gonna have to proceed with trial.
I understand. Mr. Nunez, is there anything that you can think of that may not involve a crime of moral turpitude that you can offer that Mr. Flores can take and not jeopardize the residency?
Your Honor, we have tweaked these types of charges before, but at this time, I'm not willing to do so. But if I did want to do so, I know that Mr. Martinez did the research on it, and I'd have to get back with him on what we did in that previous case.
Mr. Martinez, do you know right offhand? Mr. ADA Martinez, he's on.
He told me that.
Yes, Your Honor.
What could a cruelty to animal be reduced to that could possibly
Well,
not?
it would still be cruelty to animals. It just would be, there's a misdemeanor cruelty to animals. But yeah, no, it's still cruelty to animals. But
Okay.
like I said, Mr. Nunez is right. We'd have to look at this case.
Okay. Okay, so then, Mr. Flores, see, that's what I'm trying to get ahead of everything. Mr. Flores, ask your expert if a misdemeanor cruelty would involve moral turpitude.
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
Right? Okay. Just to get ahead, right? So we're not
Yeah.
back and forth with the next question, right? And see, I don't know if a felony or misdemeanor makes a difference. I think if it says cruelty to animals, I think it's going to be moral
And
turpitude.
again,
But I'm not an expert. Find out.
right, it wasn't a crime of turpitude, but the indication is that they tried, and
trying to
he doesn't
make
know if it changed or not. So we got to
Right.
find out.
Okay, very well, sir. Okay. Can we set this up? You want 30 days for this resident
Yes.
guy to give us some expert opinion? 30-day settlement conference, Miss Becky. Anything else, Mr. Flores?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Miss Pacheco, gracias por venir, por asistir esta audiencia.
Gracias.
Pacheco,
Sí,
que tenga buen
gracias.
día.
Igualmente.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we took care of that one. We're back with Mr. Cox. I think do we have Benito on? Did he connect, Mr. Rick?
Yes, he
Yes,
did now,
did
Your Honor.
connect. He's just on mute.
Yes, let me
He's on
ask
mute.
Mr. Benito. Mr. Benito, I'm asking you. There you go. Mr. Benito, how are you?
Doing great.
I wanted to see your face, sir. I wanted to see how great you're doing. You look wonderful, sir.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. It's good to see you, sir. Okay, we're on the record. We're back on the record in 2019, 3336. Mr. Benito Garcia, do you see and recognize Mr. Cox as your attorney in this case?
Yes, I do.
Very good. And Mr. Cox, do you see and recognize Mr. Garcia as the defendant and your client in this case as well?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both of them have identified each other. Mr. Nunez, what are we doing in this case? What are we offering?
Your Honor, we are offering 2 TDC on counts 1 and 3, I believe it is, and 2 TDC on counts 1 and 3, and then dismissing count 2, Your Honor, which is the assault on the peace officer.
And Your Honor, we've previously rejected that. I think they have proof problems in regard to about everything, but maybe the criminal mischief counts. And then the documentation they provided me for the amount of the damage alleged seems exceptionally inflated to me based on the damage that's actually shown on the videos they provided. So, I mean, there's factual issues that need to be addressed. I'm waiting for the various medical providers to provide me with admissible copies of Mr. Garcia's medical records. The investigator's been working on that for some time. I think with the pandemic, it's really slowed the process of getting those down. So we're waiting for those. I had previously proposed to the state the possibility of doing a bench trial, and they hadn't been open to that, but they may have changed on that point now. I would want to confer with Mr. Garcia again before I agreed to do that going forward, but I think based on my previous conversations with him, we would trust your judgment in regard to the evidence in this case. I just need to get the medical records.
Okay. Mr. Nunez, would you consider a bench trial in this case?
Yes, I would, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's really look towards a bench trial then. Speak to your client again. Now that the DAs are open to a bench, on this one, reaffirm that with your client, please.
I will, Your Honor.
I think that would be a good That would be a good resolution.
Yes.
Especially if we're looking at these issues. Mr. Nunez, are the amounts pretty much inflated as far as the criminal mischief is concerned? Do you think?
Your Honor, I mean, I'm no expert, but the allegation is that he basically locked himself inside the restroom of a hospital and flooded the hospital by turning on these sprinkler system for the fire sprinkler system. In the video, they're squeegeeing out gallons of water. I don't know the extent of that damage. The estimate is from obviously a repair company, which I'm assuming that's the estimate that they're going to give to the insurance. I'm sure that there will be a paper trail somewhere. Whether it meets or exceeds the statutory amount is yet to be determined, but the estimate does itself.
Yeah, they're estimating $250,000. Their video shows that the water apparently never rose above the rubber kick plates on the floor. So I don't know where they're coming up with $250,000 of damage for water that apparently didn't get more than an inch or two high. But I don't know. I've never gotten a breakdown explaining I mean, they want 50,000 in labor or more. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but so I mean, there's factual issues. I mean, I'm sure that at a trial I can present a witness who would explain exactly how they came up with the numbers, and then assuming it's a bench trial, you'd be able to evaluate what you thought of the testimony.
And Your Honor, the estimate is 19 pages and it is detailed. So it's not just a blanket, this is what the amount is. It's literally detailed with all sorts of numbers. So
Now, time break in this case, Mr. Nunez, why? Because the damages are so extensive, supposedly, or why?
Well, Your Honor, this is what actually Mr. Cox proposed initially. He proposed this offer. I offered it, and now he doesn't want to take it.
This offer that you offered?
Yes.
No. Sorry, I proposed 10 deferred and possibly put him in your Phoenix project so that you could supervise making sure he stays on his mental health treatment, which definitely needs to happen. I don't remember ever proposing any time recommendation. His mental health issues are such that those need to be addressed. You know, this is a relatively typical approach. And in all fairness, I'll say in my early years at the DA's office, I was as guilty of this as anybody, of basically, you know, give them the minimum time and wrap it up, wash your hands of the problem and move on. That doesn't, you know, Mr. Garcia has a long history of criminal offenses. I have no doubt that it's all related to his mental health issues.
Would I be able to speak?
Mr. Garcia?
Well, yeah, Mr. Garcia, just wait.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't remember ever proposing to TDC. They came back at one point and told me that was the best that they could do because of his criminal history. And I do believe I recall he's probably not probation eligible from a jury. But we go to the court for punishment anyway, because you understand the mental health issues as well as anybody. So, but we need the medical records so that you can appreciate the extent of those. And that would be for punishment. Beyond that, frankly, given what they've disclosed to me about the witnesses, which may not be available to them anymore, I'm not sure they can prove it was Mr. Garcia who caused the situation in the first place. So we would have to wait and see what they have available. I don't think that they have ever investigated the case past what's available on the portal. I don't think Mr. Nunez has ever had the time to actually talk to witnesses, get a breakdown of how the numbers in their 19 pages of documentation can actually be linked to the damage that was allegedly caused or anything else. And, you know, having been a line prosecutor for the 13 years, I understand how overworked he probably is all the time. So, I mean, I'm not sure if I'd been prosecutor on this case, I would necessarily have been able to be more prepared than he is. But I mean, these are issues.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Nunez, what do you have to say?
With regard to anything?
This is my concern. I have a little history with Mr. Garcia as far as his mental health issues are concerned, right? And so for him to do time for this, I just want to know your reasoning behind it.
And it would be time served, Your Honor. So
It would be time served?
Yeah,
yes, Your Honor.
I don't think he's got a full 2 years. I'm not going to tell anybody that just because they might parole in absentia means that they will. Actually, my information of how TDCJ is handling things is that they were up to people serving almost all of their sentence before they became eligible for parole, something like 85%. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It changes like the wind. So I really don't. I don't represent anybody anymore, though, parole and absentia on anything.
Mr. Garcia, your attorney's doing a fabulous job. I don't understand why you're.
I just feel like I know he's great, but it's just that it's just a big. I wish I could just explain just a little bit of what happened that night and why it makes it sound like.
Yeah, but we'll go there at the trial, Mr. Garcia.
Okay. I've never done anything like this, and I'm just being honest with you guys.
I know, Mr. Garcia.
I just want to speak up for myself, and this is a total misunderstanding that I got myself into.
Okay, sir, but hang on. Now is not the time to discuss.
Okay. That's the process. Okay, I get it.
Trial.
I'm sorry.
Can you say, Mr. Nunez, Mr. Martinez can use it against you at the time of trial?
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just be quiet then.
Yes.
But I mean.
And your attorney's doing a great job.
I know, he's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Martinez just came on the screen behind his green cobija. Do you have anything to say, Mr. Martinez?
Well, the amount of the restitution in this case is rather high, and I was wondering, needless to say, restitution would be part of any, if we were to, to work out a probation record, the defendant has a way of making that restitution.
I think that would be between him and the judge in the probation department and whoever the new district attorney happens to be as we go forward. So I think it's one thing to impose it. I would still want to see a better documentation of exactly how that 19 pages corresponds to the damage that was supposedly done.
Well, I don't want to set him up for failure,
Mr. Martinez, listen carefully. Mr. Cox has stated that repair is tremendously inflated.
Oh, that's what he's saying, Your Honor. Yes.
Inflated. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my point is, it might be.
So, Mr. Martinez, why are you asking if he can pay it or not? Mr. Cox is saying it's too much. It's too much for the damage. So,
Your Honor, if I might, they just haven't provided me anything that tells me that all of this work and repair is related to what happened with the sprinkler system, allegedly. If they could provide a much more detailed description of how all the 19 pages of work was caused by the sprinkler system, when all their video shows is probably less than an inch of water on the floor, then I would be open to, accepting their information. And I've discussed this with them, but so far I get an itemized list of stuff with no, if they went to trial, they would have to present witnesses to link what happened with the sprinkler system to the damage they're claiming that the repair was for. And that would have to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. And basically where we're at now, I don't think they can come close to it, because if they could, they would have provided me with some of this information, but they just haven't even tried to gather that up. So frankly, I think where they're sitting now, if we go to trial, they're going to have a real problem even proving the amount of damage is causally linked to what's alleged. Okay. And I don't know whether it's causally linked or not, but they're going to have the burden to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt when we get to trial.
That's true, Your Honor. We would have to prove that the damages are related to the defendant's actions. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And that's what Mr. Cox is asking for you to do right now, pre-trial. Before
and
trial.
That's fine. Mr. Nunez and I, we can pre-trial who's ever in charge of these repairs and figure out step by step. Well, you said you had to fix this. How can we know that you didn't have to fix it before? Those types of things. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
But what I'm getting at is, Judge, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we can detail every single penny, every single dollar that had to be repaired. They're all reasonable estimates, all directly related to the defendant's actions that day, right? Let's just say, and of course, if Mr. Nunez and I talk and it figures out, my goodness gracious, this doesn't meet the amounts to make it a felony, then of course, we'll let everybody know. But But let's just say that we pretrial and it is as it's alleged to be. I think that is a valid concern, Your Honor, that if we're going to place this man on probation to pay back this X amount of money, that he has the ability to pay back this money. I think that's a fair inquiry right now, not in the future, but now.
I think the rate at which he pays it back is under the jurisdiction of the court. And I think also that whether he's capable of paying it back is a fact question to come up if he in fact fails to make progress with it.
Let me kind of cut to the chase in this particular case. Is there any way, 19 pages sounds like it does have some detail in it, some, I guess you're asking for the actual causal connection between the damage and the
yes, because the documentation makes it look like and this happened at UMC allegedly. The documentation, at least that's my understanding, the documentation makes it look like that an extensive area of the emergency room was flooded. I don't see any evidence of that on the videos they've provided. I'm very familiar with UMC because my father was there a lot in the last couple of years of his life. I know that area of that hospital. The videos they provided do not seem to me to encompass anything like the area that they're claiming was damaged. But maybe it was. They just haven't provided anything which convinces me that that's what happened.
Your Honor, it's Providence Memorial Hospital, not UMC.
Yeah, Providence Memorial Campus. Okay, whatever it was, that's where my father always went in the last 2 years of his life when he had repeated health crises. I know that emergency room backwards and forwards. I spent days of my life in there over a period of time. There's nothing in this case file on the portal that indicates a level of damage from the sprinkler system that equates to what's in those 19 pages of records. And so, basically part of what I need to see is something which details exactly how all of these repairs relate to what happened with the sprinkler system. I can't even tell how much of the sprinkler system was set off from the very skimpy and cursory offense report that's in the portal on this. Okay. And I've been told, and I'll give them credit for this, that they can't even, or at least last time this came up, they no longer have the security guard as a witness on this case. And he's kind of probably necessary to identify Mr. Garcia as being the individual who allegedly set off the sprinkler system. So I don't think they've looked at this much anytime recently.
Well, I'm going to say this, Mr. Martinez, Mr. Nunez, $250,000 is nothing to sneeze at. That's a heck of a lot of money for anybody, for any of us. I don't know if any of us would have the capability of paying $250,000 restitution, a term and period of probation. But I think at the least, we have to recognize the fact that the defense attorney has every right to question that amount. And because it's such a large amount, he's doing it. And so would you object to kind of maybe looking into the damage portion and restitution a little bit more and look into it and see if you can correlate what the work was done to the damage?
Well, the thing is, Jenna, what would have to happen is Mr. Nunez and I would have to go to the hospital and walk through the area and point, and whoever did the repairs would point out to us, okay, this had to be repaired and this had to be repaired. And, that to me would be the only way to really get a full, understanding. And as you know, that for the time being.
You can't do it on the phone? You can do it on the phone? You don't think so?
I suppose we could, Your Honor. We could, but I just don't. Yes, I just think that 19-page reports. I understand what Mr. Cox is saying. Okay, all this had to be repaired, but the nexus between the water that came out of that sprinkler causing the damage that's alleged to the item that had to be repaired. In short, to answer your question, we will look into it, Your Honor, and try and see if we can even get a more detailed explanation as to the.
Thank you. Try and see what happens at the best that you can. I don't think I would want anybody going to a hospital right now. So I wouldn't ask you or Mr. Nunez to go to Providence and walk true. No. Everybody's just at the hospitals at this point. See if it can be done on the phone as best as can be. And then you give Mr. Cox as best as can be explanation. And then maybe Mr. Cox, it can be a joint call. You, Mr. Cox, and this person that provided the repair estimate.
Yeah, and I'm open to that. I mean, whatever. I asked my investigator to try and talk to them. I don't think they've been what I would call cooperative in regard to that, but I'm sure the pandemic has interfered with any of that sort of thing also.
Right. This detailing this thing is probably like number 23 on their list of things to do for the hospital.
Well, if they want their $250,000, maybe they should prioritize it. Although, frankly, I'm pretty sure they're self-insured, so
Insurance paper. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying, Your Honor. They tried to comply. They provided this 19-page report, but for a more detailed analysis, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
not that it matters much, Judge, but it's $161,000, $161,784.05.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm remembering the jurisdictional limit on this particular level of charge.
Okay, 161. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in answer to your question, Your Honor, yes, we will reach out to them and see if
Good.
there's
And
more.
if you can include Mr. Cox in the conversation, that way he can ask whatever questions need to be done so we can take care of it in that manner much more expeditiously. Or if you can do this, encourage this repair guy, invoice guy, to talk to Mr. Cox. That way neither you nor Mr. Nunez really need to be involved, right, Mr. Cox?
That's fine, although they're going to have to pre-trial him before we do a trial. I mean,
of course.
Right, no, I mean,
we'll
figure something out, Your Honor. We'll try and figure out what this nexus is.
Good. Very good. Okay, so then let's set this up for another 30 days. You think 45 days? You guys can work on this.
Maybe more like 45 days, Your Honor.
We're like what, Mr. Martinez?
45 days, preferably, yes.
You got it. I'll give you 45 days. Absolutely to work on this.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No worries. We're going to do a 45-day settlement conference. Anything else, Mr. Cox?
No, Your Honor. Mr. Garcia, I'll call you a little later. I've got to go to a Zoom hearing in another court right now, but I'll call you when I'm done with that.
Mr. Garcia, you look good. Take care of yourself. Nice to see you. You may leave, Mr. Garcia. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, you guys.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next one, Catalina Burciaga, 2020-623, announcement council. Avelar.
Good morning, Judge. Daniel Avelar for Ms. Burciaga.
Mr. Nunez, are you there?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, did you announce? I didn't hear it.
I thought I did. David Nunez.
I
think
didn't.
we kind of overlap, Judge.
Hey, David, can you do 3 on this?
Wait, hang on a second, Mr. Avelar. Is Ms. Burciaga there with you?
I apologize. She is in our lobby, Judge.
Okay, very well. That's all I need to know. Okay, sir. So then, okay, go ahead, Mr. Nunez. Can you
Mr.
do
Honor, the offer on the table, Your Honor, is 5 years straight probation, 100 hours community service.
100 hours community service?
Yes, Your Honor. $500 fine, 10 days ACOP, sober link, and all the regular terms and conditions of probation.
5 years straight. And you asked for 2 years or 3 years, Mr. Avelar?
I'm asking for 3.
For 3. What are you saying about that, Mr. Nunez?
No, consistent with how I don't ever go below 5 straight on DWI 30. So unless for very exceptional circumstances, and this isn't one of them, there's a motor vehicle accident. I can't remember if there was blood or breath, Your Honor, but I'm going to decline to extend 3 years, Your Honor.
There wasn't there was a motor vehicle accident, Judge. There was another driver involved. There's some issues as to who was at fault, Your Honor. But we did have insurance. And in addition to that, Your Honor, her husband and her child died approximately, they were in close proximity to each other. They both passed away a few years ago. Sorry?
As a result of this, Mr. Avelar?
No, ma'am. No, just a few. She's been through some tough times. She also works in the trauma department at UMC. So she's been having she's complying with her machine, but she's having a hard time because she takes off everything. then she, you know, goes to a private room for privacy, and then she blows, and then she has to get, you know, put everything back on, and then re-sanitize, and so on and so forth. She does that quite a bit. So she is asking a reduction in the number of times that she has to do that, Your Honor.
Okay, can you give me proof that she's a healthcare provider? What proof can you give? Can you give me proof that she's a healthcare provider?
Of course I can, absolutely.
Okay, and all you have to do is bring her in and tell her to give me, I think they have registered nurses. Is she a registered nurse or what is she?
I'm not sure what her position is. I don't think it's an
I want to
RN.
know the position and I want to know the license number. Because I think she has to be licensed by the state of Texas. She's a healthcare provider.
Can she leave right now, Judge? She has to go to work. Can she leave?
Well, but I need this information for me to modify it right now. So can she come in quickly to get this information to me so I can ask her the questions? And then if she's a healthcare provider fighting this coronavirus, I will consider that, and I will only let her test 2-3 times a day.
David, can we split the baby?
Stick to 5.
Okay.
You tried, Mr. Avelar.
Yeah.
Urciaga, are you there?
I think yes, please. She's coming in, Judge.
Good, thank you. Let me just ask her some questions so we can amend that. At least I can do that for you. You speak Spanish?
No, she speaks English. Come
Oh.
No, wear your mask. Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You. Ms. Urciaga, how are you today?
Okay,
Good, ma'am. Where is it that you work, ma'am?
I work at UNC,
What do you do there, ma'am?
housekeeping. I work at Department of Trauma.
Okay. She's in housekeeping, Mr. Avelar.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I mean, she's still around. She's still around sensitive people. It's trauma.
Trauma.
In fact, yeah, I went there about a month and a half ago, and they had me go through some crazy things. I even tried lowering my mask right below my nose. They said, "Hey,
No.
put it back, right?
Yeah.
Put it back up."
You have to wear it all day until you finish your shift.
So the issue becomes is she goes and then she hides, obviously for privacy. Then when she's done complying, she puts everything back on and then re-sanitizes. I mean, it's doable, but it's getting a little tough.
Right. How many hours do you work there, ma'am?
8 hours, ma'am.
Okay. So in the 8-hour period, she probably will only be tested twice, right?
Twice, right. Does that sound right? Do you test twice in a given shift?
Like for the machine?
So let's say today you're going in right now at what, 11:30 or 12?
I go in at 3. So right now at 12, I'm gonna blow the other one, blowing. And then at 4 o'clock, I'll blow the other one at 7 and 10. That's the last one.
Oh, that makes sense. So there's times where she blows 3 per shift.
It's like 5 in the morning, 9, 12, 4.
Okay, so if I reduce it to 5 times, then she'll only test twice during the shift. If I reduce it to 5 times daily.
In that shift, I think she'll, in today's shift, even at that modification, I think she'll still do 3. Because she goes in at 3, then she blows at 4, then again at what time?
At 4, 7, 10 is the last one.
And then 10 is the last one at work.
What time do you get out of work, Ms. Burciaga?
11:30, ma'am.
Okay, so what time you go in? 3 to 11:30?
Yes.
Okay, but this is a shift that changes on a weekly basis or monthly basis?
No, ma'am, that's my regular hour.
Okay, so let's do it so that she's only testing. If we can just tell, she's on a PR bond?
She is.
Okay.
And she's been compliant since January, late January.
Wow. But we've been in hunker down for 3 months. Nobody
Yes,
goes in.
and in April when we had a status, you were very happy with her.
Yes, I'm happy with her. Okay, let's do it so that she tests 5 times a day. but she only tests twice during her 3 to 11:30. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So work that out with a PR bond. We're gonna have to amend it. Do we amend the PR bond, Mr. Castañeda?
So during your shift.
Judge, if you want me to put the specifics, I can.
Okay, I'm allowing iPhone in, Mr. Rick Salazar.
Okay.
So what are your times of testing right now, Ms. Burciaga?
Right now at 12, I'm gonna blow right now at 12.
And then, what are your times of the day?
And if I'm there, I blow at 4.
Okay.
And then if I'm there, I blow at 7.
Okay.
And the next one is at 10 o'clock.
Is at 10, but that's only 4 blows a day. I give you 6. So what are your blows?
At 5 in the morning, it's 1. It's the first one. At 9 in the morning, it's the other one. And then right now I'm gonna blow that 12. And then 4, 7, and 10.
Okay. So then, let's get rid of the 12, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get rid of the 7 o'clock one. Let's get rid of the 7. Let's do the 5, the 9, the 12, the 4, and the 10. That way she's only testing at 4 and 10 while she's there.
Right, and the middle of the shift, you're getting rid of the one in the middle of the shift.
Right, because she's working, right? I don't think she's
Right.
gonna be drinking on the
I can imagine the 4 and the 7 being a little bit busy for her.
Oh, yeah.
But right.
So we're getting rid of the 7.
Okay.
We're getting rid of the 7 o'clock one. So it's gonna be Mr. Castañeda. She's gonna test 5, 9, 12, 4, and 10. I'm sorry, my cell phone just went off. I am sorry.
That helps, Judge. I appreciate the court's courtesies.
Absolutely, absolutely, Ms. Burciaga. Okay, ma'am, you can go ahead and go back to work. Mr. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Avelar, anything else? Then I guess.
Nothing from the, no, she's running out of here. Okay, yeah, please. I'll come. Right, yeah.
Okay, then, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess.
I don't think it's gonna be fruitful to do any more, right? Any
Probably
more conferences, because it sounds like you guys are.
I mean, if we change our mind, no, I get that. I get that, Rec. I get it. There was some mitigating factors I thought that might help her out a bit. So I'll keep in touch with Mr. Nunez. If we change our mind, I'll notify the court on a plea.
And if not, we're gonna put this on the trial. We're gonna put this on the trial docket, right? Awaiting trial.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll do that. No bench trials on anybody's part on this one?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. You may be excused on this one, Mr.
All right, y'all take care.
You too, sir. Thank you. 2020-0770 Pablo Rocha. Mr. Mondragon, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. Stage is ready.
Orlando Mondragon on behalf of Mr. Rocha, Your Honor. We are ready.
Mr. Rocha present at this Zoom hearing. Mr. Rocha, are you there, sir?
He is, Your Honor.
Mr. Rocha, can you talk to me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Right here.
There you are. Okay, Mr. Rocha, do you see and recognize your attorney on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Mondragon, do you see and recognize your client as the defendant in this case?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Let the record reflect that both have identified each other. Okay, Mr. Nunez, what's the offer in this case?
Your Honor, the offer in this case is to reduce this to a robbery, an offer 2 years deferred probation, a probated $500 fine, 100 hours of community service, theft counseling, no contact with CW or Circle K stores, as well as a UABA and curfew, Your Honor.
This was a beer run?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a co-defendant who's also in our court. It's his name is Christopher Gaitan.
Christopher Gaitan. Did you offer the same to Mr. Gaitan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Becky, can we put both of them on the same track so we can try and deal with them consistently, please? Okay, Mr. Mondragon, what are you thinking about this one?
Your Honor, I had to talk to my client. I saw the rec on portal yesterday and I tried to communicate with my client, but I talked to his mom and to his brother, but I haven't been able to talk to my client.
Okay.
So I just need time to actually sit down and review the offer with him.
Okay. Okay, let's do that. We'll give you time. We'll give you time. How much time do you think you need, Mr. Mondragon?
Your Honor, I guess maybe two weeks or 30 days.
Okay, let's give you 3 weeks. I'll give you 3
That-
weeks for
That'll
Someone
work.
tells you 3 weeks. It sounds with deferred on an ag robbery. I think something can be worked out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Mondragon?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rocha, anything else? Where are you,
Your
Mr. Rocha? Have a good day and be safe, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next one is Gabriel Duran. Court calls clause 2912. Gabriel Duran, announcement of council, please.
David Nunez for the state, Your Honor. State is ready.
Well, Ms. Arenas or Mr. Santillano, who's going to handle?
Santillano from Adopt Probation, Your Honor.
There you go. Okay, sir, talk to me about this gentleman. Where's Mr. Gabriel Duran? Is he on?
Yes,
ma'am.
Your Honor. It's,
Mr. Gabriel Duran, can you talk to me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay, there you go, sir. Okay, sir, you don't have an attorney, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this is going to be an admonishment. I'm going to scold you for something you're doing or not doing.
Correct,
Okay,
Your
yes,
Honor.
ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Santillano. Talk to me.
Mr. Duran failed to report for UAs for April and May, Your Honor. He did provided a UA on yesterday, and it was negative. He has complied with everything he has supposed to be doing. He's in a 10-year probation deferred. He's done 7 out of them. He has completed domestic violence program with Sandra Payan, anger management with Sandra Payan, no positive UAs. He has completed 65 hours. He has 135 left out of 200. And the only concern was the 2 missed UAs for April and May.
Okay, sir. He failed to report for the UAs for April and May, is what you said, Mr. Santillano.
Yes, he didn't report for
Did
no
he
UA.
report to you guys otherwise?
No, he did by phone.
Okay, so he reported it. So the report is not the issue, it's the UA.
They
Okay.
did this.
Okay, now it was negative yesterday. Yesterday was the first UA. June the 17th was the first UA since March.
Correct.
His March was negative.
Yes, Your Honor.
How come you didn't go for 2 months, Mr. Duran?
To be honest with you, ma'am, I've been real busy at work, and also, well, I know it's not an excuse, but like, well, the whole thing with the coronavirus.
You just said it's not an excuse, so that's not an excuse.
Yes, ma'am.
You were
No,
asked
but
when you're called and asked to go. Why didn't you go?
well, to be honest, well, right now, I'm working at Wingstop right now, and I'm kind of running the store right now, so I've been like really busy. I've been pulling double shifts and everything right now, so like to be honest, I haven't had time, to be honest with you.
That's honest. Are you working right now, sir?
No, ma'am, no. I was gonna work, but I traded shifts with another manager.
Are you
So
a
I'm working
manager? Are you a manager at Wingstop?
Yes, ma'am.
You're a manager.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been a manager?
About 2 years.
Okay. You know, Wingstop was probably closed during April and May because that's when restaurants were closed.
No, ma'am. Actually, just our lobby was closed. It hasn't shut down. Just we're just taking like call-ins and the orders are picking up through DoorDash. That's about it.
Okay. Mr. Santillano, what are you thinking is a good sanction for this April and May failure to use a UA? I'm sorry?
10 days jail commitment.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Mr. Duran? 10 days in jail? Because you didn't do what we asked you to do, sir. What are you thinking?
Well, to be honest, I was thinking maybe I can do like a test, a drug test, like once a week or twice, whatever, twice a week, doesn't matter. But just right now, I can't really like. I would have to speak with my supervisors about being in jail, because right now I'm running like I said, there's no general manager right there, right now at the store, so I'm like kind of like in charge of the store right now.
You can't even go one time a month that we're asking you to go. Now you're asking for extra, you ways? When the reason you're here is you can't even go one time a month. What's that about?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. No.
Yeah, that's illogical, ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, sorry about that. That's just illogical and irrational. How old are you?
29.
How long have you been working at Wingstop?
I'm going on my 4 years.
4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
How many hours a week do you work?
Between 40 and 50.
Mr. Santillano?
Yes, Your Honor.
What about, rather than giving him jail time, would you agree to, he has to volunteer somewhere and do it within 3 weeks. He has to do, let's say, 20 hours of volunteer somewhere, rather than the jail sanction. Do food banks still need help? Or are we out of this crisis, food crisis, and everybody's good? Does anybody know?
We haven't sent anybody for community service, Your Honor, due to the virus at this time. There is a hold on that, so I wouldn't know where to send them.
This guy's working. It's not like he's at home hiding.
Correct.
You know food banks have been saying we need volunteers, we need volunteers, we need volunteers. While your policy may have been something that was good in the midst of this coronavirus, everybody's out drinking, barring, pool partying, having barbecues. That's why our numbers are up. So this gentleman can do volunteer work if he's out there working. Mr. Artemio, what are you thinking?
Judge, from what I understand is the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, they do need a lot of help. The only thing he needs to do is contact them, and then they'll let him know where and when he can go and help out.
And they still need volunteers, Mr. Artemio?
Yes.
Mr. Lopez, okay. See, there it is, Mr. Santillano. You know, getting somebody in and out of jail puts our jail population at risk and all of that coming in and out. I would probably, if this gentleman is not afraid, this gentleman is out and about everywhere. So he can go out and do some volunteer work. And we're going to give him a hefty amount of volunteer work to do during, and I think we need to give him about, really? He can do 10 hours a week for 1 month. That's 40 hours of community service that our community needs, I think, right, Mr. Artemio?
Yes, Judge.
And then, Mr. Duran, if you don't do 40 hours in 30 days, I'm putting you in jail. I'm going to do what Mr. Santillano's asking you to do. I don't care. I'm giving you the opportunity.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, let's see if you follow it. I don't know. I don't know. You don't follow any of my other things I ask you to do. Like go get a UA once a month. You don't follow that.
Yeah, no. Sorry about that.
Well, you're not really sorry. You're not really sorry because I don't feel the genuineness when you say, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Where's your genuineness in that? It's not there. Okay, he has. And Mr. Santillano, you better scrutinize this gentleman. He's got to do 40 hours. If the El Pasoans for Hunger doesn't, you've got to find him a place where he can do 40 hours, and he's got to do it by July the 18th, 2020. 30 days, 40 hours of work. Volunteer. In 30 days. Mr. Santillano, will I trust that you will report to me if he doesn't do 40 hours by July the 18th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Duran, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what are you supposed to do?
40 hours of voluntary.
In what
And I have
time? What time period?
I have until July 18th.
30 days from today's date.
Yes, ma'am.
You better do them, sir, or else then I'll put you in jail. I
Yes,
won't
ma'am.
even hesitate. I won't hesitate, sir. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Santillano, please let me know if he doesn't, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Santillano, anything else we need to address with this young man?
No, Your Honor, that was the only concern, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You've got to start doing UAs, Mr. Duran. You've got to start doing UAs.
Yes, ma'am.
One more missed UA, you're going to go to jail, sir. One
Okay.
more missed UA, you're going to jail. You don't finish your 40 hours in 30 days, sir, you're going to jail.
Okay.
Okay. I hope you realize it. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Mr. Gabriel, any questions? Mr.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Judge.
Your Honor. Yes, sir.
Your Honor.
I just got an email from Miss Pat Arenas. She's on the
Yes.
meeting. I don't think she's available to speak, but it looks like
She's on this.
it looks like as far as like probationers that want to participate or help out with the food bank, they can only make a monetary donation. So I don't know if they will take them now. I don't know if this is the thing. I don't know if they're going to give him credit for community service, but I don't know if he does it voluntarily, as you know, only for this sanction, but he won't get credit for community service.
I don't understand what you're saying, Mr. I
Okay.
don't understand what you're saying. Can we start again?
Okay, so apparently probationers can only make a monetary contribution to El Pasoans Fighting Hunger.
They can't go in person and help?
No.
Okay. Can he go? Is there another place that he can go to do 40 hours of community service?
Let me see what we can find, Judge.
Okay.
There's a hold on the community service, Your Honor. We haven't been able to send a lot of people due to the virus.
Okay. But I thought the food bank needed people. That's where they need the people.
They do, Your Honor, because I have volunteered through this time.
Then?
And it's from 8 in the morning to 3, but it's not counted towards community service. That's my understanding. They can go volunteer, and they would we can try and get a notification, because we got to sign in and sign out before, and then we got to wear our protective stuff, and then that would be talking to them so they could give us the time we clocked in, time we clocked out. But it wouldn't count it towards the community service. It would count more towards the sanctions, the 40 hours.
That's what I want it to be. I want it to be a sanction. I don't want him to get credit for community service hours.
Okay.
No, that'll defeat the purpose, and we haven't sanctioned him. He needs to be sanctioned. 40 hours of the volunteer work. And Mr. Gabriel Duran, what you need to do is, if they don't, is a problem verification? Is that your problem too, Mr. Santillano?
No, Your Honor, because I've gotten a notification from another probationer who went, but I told him that they're not giving him credit, but he gave me the notification saying that he was there.
Okay, that's all I want. I don't want credit. He's not going to get credit. He's going to have to do the community service hours that he's already been assessed, plus 40 hours.
Correct.
He missed 2 months of UAs. I think I made that abundantly clear. Mr. Artemio, is there a problem with that?
No, Judge, but I think we'll be able to do that.
Okay. 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 Thank you. You may be excused, Mr. Udon. Thank you very much, sir. I better not see you back, sir, or you're going to be in orange behind bars. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jordan de la Torre, court calls cause number 2019-4675. Jordan de la Torre, are you
Hi, Your
there?
Honor. Yes.
There you are, sir. Okay, sir. Who's the probation officer in this case?
Maribel Cardenas with adult probation judge.
Miss Cardenas, thank you. Okay, talk to me about Mr. de la Torre.
Mr. de la Torre was placed on probation for 2 years straight on March 13th, 2020 for possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2 under 1 gram. He's been doing very well, Judge. He's currently in TAP. He starts his drug offender class on Monday. All negative UAs and BAs, he's been reporting over the phone as instructed.
Why are we set for a status today?
Yeah, it just came up, Judge. It just came up, I guess, just a status. I guess.
No, I don't waste my time on people.
No, I don't just put it on the docket.
Right, there was an email. Pat Arena sent and you sent.
Mr.
There was an issue. There was an email.
I know I had sent an email just advising that because he was ordered 30 days of ACOP. He was a weekender, but the jail isn't taking anyone right now at the moment.
That's what this is about.
Right.
That's what it's about.
Okay.
Okay, so I gave him 30 days ACOP and they're not taking weekenders, right?
Not yet, Judge. I did call the jail this past week again, and they're still not taking anyone.
That's the issue. Mr. de la Torre, do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
Carlos Jr.
Okay. Are you working today?
Yes, ma'am.
What time?
5.
Okay. Did you verify employment, Ms. Cardenas?
I have not, Judge. I know he was a student at Bel Air High School, I believe, and he just graduated.
Student at Bel Air?
I believe that's where you graduated from, right, Mr. de la Torre?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good. Congratulations. You just graduated this May?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Congratulations. Sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Now, you don't want to work at Carl Jr.'s your whole life, right?
No, ma'am.
So what are you planning?
EPCC.
Good for you. In the fall or summertime?
Both. I applied
Okay.
for both.
Good. Do that, sir. Do that. Okay. I think I put him in jail for 30 days for lying to me, right, Ms. Cardenas? I don't have the.
I'm not sure about that, Judge. I know that on the conditions of probation, it just said 30 days ACOP. He was a weekender.
No, he pled to it then. Mr. Castañeda, was that part of the plea, the 30 days ACOP, or Mr. Nunez, do you know?
I'm looking at the plea papers, Judge.
No, Judge.
It wasn't?
It was part of it, Judge.
It was?
Yes,
Okay.
Judge.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. I just need, thank God nobody's here. I'm here by myself, you guys. Don't panic.
Judge, and just to let you know, he pled on March 13th of
Yeah,
this year.
that's what you told me, Ms. Cardenas. On the last day we were there,
Yes,
right
Judge.
before the pandemic exploded and started to rage. Okay, so it was 30 days. Mr. Nunez, this is part of the plea agreement then. What do you want to do about these 30 days that he cannot do right now? You want to wait till later?
That's what I was going to say, Judge. I think that's our only option at this point.
Okay, the other option is let him do volunteer work or do something else in lieu of, but if you want him to do 30 days ACOP, we'll just wait until it all opens up then.
And I'm sorry, Judge, your idea was to have him volunteer at these places. He wouldn't get credit for the community service hours, but it would be in lieu of the ACOP days.
In lieu of ACOP. In lieu of ACOP. But it's up to you because it's part of the plea bargain. So I thought I had put him in jail for 30 days for lying. So I was going to decide what to do, but this is part of the plea bargain. So if you want him to wait until the jail starts weekenders and work release, we'll do that. Or you want to give him community service hours in lieu of, you can do that too. Mr. Nunez, it's up to you.
Yes, Your Honor. And I'm just checking his criminal history really quick, Your Honor.
He looks fairly young. I hope he doesn't have an extensive criminal history.
Your Honor, I am okay with that.
With volunteer work, right? How many hours? How many
I'd
hours?
say for 30 days, Your Honor, I'd say around 200 for 30 days out of jail. So I think that's fair enough. I was going to say 300, but I think 200 is sufficient.
Okay, now, can we give him the option to do that or wait till the jail opens up? Or,
For the volunteer work, Your Honor, what would the jail have?
well, he may not want to do 200 hours of volunteer work, so can we give him the option to do either 30 days ACOP or 200 hours as additional community service hours, plus the
I'm
ones?
okay with that, Judge.
Okay, okay. Mr. De La Torre, I wasn't calling you
Yes.
Mr. Jordan. Mr. De La Torre, do you want to do 2 hours extra of community service hours instead of going to jail? Are we going to give him a time frame, a time period to do them in, Mr. Nunez?
I'm hesitant to do that just because of the current situation we're in, Judge. But I mean, I think we should be a little bit flexible with that.
Okay, so just do 200 hours extra more community service hours.
Yes, Your Honor.
On top of my original like planned community service, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That way you don't go to jail for 30 days.
Yes, sir.
So what do you want to do, Mr. De La Torre?
The community service.
Okay, so we're going to, I guess, we're going to have to amend the modification, do a mod on his terms and conditions of probation.
Yes, Judge.
And it's going to be 200 additional community service hours and put in lieu of 30 days ACOP
Okay, Judge.
on the mods. Okay.
So he still has the same amount on the same time frame, right? The 2 years to complete those.
How much did he plead to originally? How
2
many hours?
years, Judge.
I know, but how many hours of community service when he pled?
He got 100,
Okay.
100 hours.
So now you have 300 hours.
Mm-hmm.
De La Torre, you understand that, okay?
Yes,
There's no
ma'am.
time, but you're going to now do 300 hours of community service.
Okay.
And you're okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very well, very well. Okay, Ms. Cardenas, anything else in this case?
That is all, Judge.
Mr. Lopez, anything else? We're good?
We're good, Judge.
Okay, any questions, Mr. De La Torre?
No, ma'am. That's it. Thank you.
Be safe out there. Thank you. You all may be excused. Have a
You
great
too.
day, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, I think we're done with my docket, right, Mr. Rick? So we can go off YouTube?
Yes, we are. We are done.
Yes, let me get off recording. And then